For all the twists and turns of the Brexit story, in the middle of the maelstrom, one puzzle has remained, unchanged, unresolved and politically potent. Theresa May lost her job trying to solve it. Boris Johnson wants to break international law to address it, and everyone is taking an interest.
Don't mess with the Good Friday Accords.
With peace in Northern Ireland at stake, let's look at why the Irish border question won't go away. The challenge here has always been to reconcile three things that appear irreconcilable. The first is the European Union's single market. It allows free movement of goods, people, services and capital, and the EU protects it. Anything coming in or out is checked. The second thing was captured by Boris Johnson in 2016.
I believe that this Thursday can be our country's Independence Day.
For many of its supporters, Brexit is an assertion of national sovereignty. Leaving the EU's single market is part of that. The third thing, and this is the complicator, is that if both sides feel as they do about the single market, there need to be checks. The question is where to put the checks. And this then becomes about history and geography. Northern Ireland is part of the UK. For years, a violent conflict played out between nationalists who want it to be part of the Republic of Ireland and unionists who say it should stay in the UK. And in 1998, the Good Friday Agreement ended that conflict. It also ended military checks on the border, checks that for nationalists were an affront. And ever since, checks of any type on the border are politically unthinkable, which brings us to the geography. If there can't be checks on the Irish border, well, the map points you towards checks perhaps in the Irish Sea. Would a UK government agree to that? Well, in 2018, the EU floated the idea and Theresa May shot it down.
The draft legal text the Commission have published would, if implemented, undermine the UK common market and threaten constitutional integrity of the UK by creating a customs and regulatory border down the Irish Sea. And no UK Prime Minister could ever agree to it.
Theresa May instead proposed a backstop, a plan where the UK remained aligned to the EU's single market until a new trade deal was done. No, said Brexiteer MPs, and Mrs May was soon gone. Enter Boris Johnson, promising to get Brexit done, and he soon delivered a big shift that few saw coming. In Liverpool, in October 2019, here we have Boris Johnson meeting the then Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar. And in an act of political treachery or brilliance, depending on who you ask, he agreed to some checks in the Irish Sea on goods moving from Britain to Northern Ireland. He alienated unionist MPs. He alienated some of his own party, but he got a withdrawal deal from the EU. He forced an election. He won the election. It was a huge political coup. From there, Brexit happened and the UK and the EU began trade talks. But then a familiar issue returned, and Boris Johnson delivered his second big shift. During the election campaign, we were told again and again, weren't we? The Brexit withdrawal deal is oven ready. But Mr Johnson's view of his deal has changed, and he directed his government to do this.
Yes, this does break international law in a very specific and limited way.
The UK is now seeking to override parts of the withdrawal agreement that it signed, and Northern Ireland is again the reason why. This is the government's complaint.
We can't have is, and this is contrary to the Northern Ireland Protocol and of course a risk for the Good Friday Agreement, what we cannot have is the EU seeking to erect a regulatory border down the Irish Sea between Northern Ireland and Britain.
My colleague JP Campbell from BBC Northern Ireland scratched his head on hearing that. Wait, says JP, the withdrawal agreement explicitly creates a regulatory border in the Irish Sea. So we have a deal that the government sold the country, now being attacked by the government, all of which has led to warnings from former prime ministers and from Joe Biden, who says we can't allow the Good Friday Agreement that brought peace to Northern Ireland to become a casualty of Brexit. To which unionists and many Brexiteers would reply, we agree, but we don't want checks in the Irish Sea. It undermines the makeup of our country, they argue. And so round we go, right back to where we started. In an article in The Atlantic this week, Tom McTague compares the Brexit conundrum with a tortuous finger trap which grows tighter and more painful the more the country wrestles with it. Borders, Tom writes, must go somewhere. This reality cannot be escaped. But perhaps there's inspiration to be found in the deal everyone wants to protect. The genius of the Good Friday Agreement is that it allows all sides to see Northern Ireland in terms they find acceptable. It's a dual reality, if you like. This current impasse requires deal-making of similar imagination. If there was an easy answer, someone would have thought of it by now.